Okay, I'm waiting here in front of the Portuguese synagogue because this is the meeting place for the Anne Frank tour. And my guide is Kelly from Colorado. She's been here, staying here in Netherlands for so many years. She loves it here, and she says it's safe here. Okay, I'll stop recording.
The Iberian Peninsula.
Okay.
And over here, this is the Eastern European Jewish population that had migrated over here with the sponsorship of the Secret.
Yeah.
So, we can come around this corner to look at the building a bit, and you'll have an easier view of the synagogue when we do that.
Okay.
But when we do come, I want you to notice one thing when you look along this wall.
Okay.
You can see the consequences of the building being so old. Do you see that bulge that's happening there?
Yeah.
This is what happens to our buildings here. Do you know much about Amsterdam?
No, not really. Yeah.
Amsterdam is built on marshland. It's not a natural place to build a city.
Uh-huh.
It is high water table, very soft land. The bedrock is quite low. So all of the buildings in Amsterdam are supported by wooden pilings driven into the ground. However, over time you still have a lot of movement.
Because of the water, yeah.
Exactly. And that's what's going on here.
Wow.
But in one of the more recent renovations, which was in 2009, they added an expanding route to help support that so that this wall stays intact.
Okay.
But it seems like eventually it's going to give up anyway. It can only last for so long. One day we'll see the inside of that building, I think.
Oh.
It's a little bright, sorry.
Oh, you're ready for YouTube.
Oh no, my eyes just water a lot. So, but let's come around the corner because then we can see the synagogue, which is that inner building in there.
Okay.
And we'll do kind of a breakdown of the first migration of the Jewish population here, and then get in a little bit to the war. We'll talk about the dock worker statue.
Okay. So people here do a lot of walking, I noticed.
A lot of walking. Yeah, and Amsterdam is actually smaller than it looks.
Oh, it's raining. Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah.
I better
a cut together video later.
Yeah, I'll paste them together.
Just kidding. So, with the ban of Catholicism, all of the all of the Catholic churches in Amsterdam were converted to Protestant churches. You can't have a Catholic church visible from the street, which shows you the unique position that the Jewish population had in Amsterdam. That they could build this in a time when you could not build a Catholic church. It's a very unique position. And this was modeled after the Temple of Solomon. So it is a historic design of the building.
Yeah, that could be my next stop, Israel. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's amazing. I've really heard it's wonderful. They do still, the gentleman.
Okay.
So in May of 1940, the Nazis invade. And after about 4 days of battling outside of, in the fields and in the east, they bombed the center of Rotterdam. It was never a fair fight because at the start of the First World War, there was a single tank division in the Netherlands. And the farmers were riding their bikes wearing clogs to the battlefield.
Whoa.
That's how that was.
Yeah.
After about 4 days, the Nazis had lost patience and bombed Rotterdam. They said, if you don't capitulate at this point, we will bomb Amsterdam and Utrecht as well. So from then, the Dutch were occupied, and the Nazis marched into Amsterdam on the 17th of May, 1940. Within a few weeks, they started to implement all of the rules that they had been putting and laws against the Jewish population in Germany. From 1933 until 1938, nearly 1,500 laws were enacted against the Jewish population, separating them socially, economically, and eventually physically from the rest of the population.
It's just evil, yeah.
It is, and during this time as well, it is by law required that children are in the Hitler Youth. It's not optional.
Oh.
They have to be. So they're growing up indoctrinated with this
brainwashed
all of these stereotypes, exactly, songs and cartoons and all of these things demonizing the Jewish population.
Reminds me of Marcos. We had songs too when he was a dictator.
Yeah.
And then the TVs were worshiping him all the time.
It's so upsetting when you see those things.
They're all the same. Those
they are all the same.
scumbags.
It's the same patterns that play out. So the Netherlands are occupied from there, and all of these rules are being enacted here. But the Nazis have come in here with a gentler hand than other places, because this is a Germanic, blonde, blue-eyed, tall population. He liked the Dutch.
That's
the plan was to bring them into the fold, and they did things a bit differently here. However, there was still brutality, and it really came up a notch in February of 1941.
Oh.
So February 11th of 1941, about 425 young Jewish men are gathered, paraded through the streets where they're humiliated and beaten, and they're brought to this square, where they are loaded onto trucks and deported to Mauthausen concentration camp. This created a huge stir. This was the first large collection of Jewish people in Amsterdam. And as a result, the dock workers, public works, and the tram drivers went on strike. They had already agreed that the first of their people to be sent to the Arbeitsinstanz, work detail, they would strike. And in cooperation with the Communist Party that had been outlawed already, they went on strike on the 25th of February. The flyer said, "Strike, strike, strike. An attack on our Jewish brothers is an attack on all working people in Amsterdam." And workers around the city went on strike. By noon that day, any trams still running had been sabotaged. Sometimes the drivers were beaten as well. By the second day, it had spread to Kennemerland and Waterland, a bit north, but near Amsterdam, and Utrecht in the south. It was shut down with blood. There is only a single surviving photo of the February strike, because it is the only anti-pogrom demonstration in Europe in the Second World War. And it was done predominantly by non-Jewish people. So this is one of the only instances where people were standing up en masse for the Jewish population here. Very unique. And it was done by dock workers, tram drivers, and public works. It's not politicians or anybody elite or fancy. It's the blue collar.
The working,
Exactly. But it's a significant thing, and unfortunately it didn't have a huge effect except for the moral part. To know that people are with you makes a big difference. And this statue was erected in 1952 on Waterlooplein to commemorate that. It is done by Marie Andriessen, a Dutch sculptor, and modeled after an actual carpenter from Haarlem. He was very reluctant or a woodworker, to be the image for this, because he viewed the February strike as something sacred, almost holy for him. I disagree though, and I think he is the perfect image for this, because he really sells that image of blue collar worker. This is, not fancy man, he's not going to anything important, but he was important because they stood up for the people.
Well, he does have a beer belly.
Yes, but he's
the Heineken.
But he has that strong pose too, and so it really sends that message to me that anybody can make a difference. These were the people that stood up for the Jews in Amsterdam, and that's really significant. So this is to commemorate that. It was moved here in 1970 when the Stolpersteine Opera House was built. So I think it's really quite a wonderful thing, and they commemorate it every year in February as well. You can see the date etched in there.
Yeah, there's a plaque on the other side.
Yes.
I'll just take a picture. Okay, that's enough. Okay.
I love that statue. I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Go this way. Unfortunately, none of the men who had been deported survived to 1942. Everyone who was deported in that first mass roundup was dead before the year ended.
Wow.
And it became a threat in Amsterdam. All they had to say to people was Mauthausen.
Okay. Yeah, the American soldiers liberated the concentration camps were shocked. They didn't believe what the Nazis were doing.
No, it's hard to believe.
I mean, the cruelty, right?
It's hard to actually wrap your mind around.
They were basically skeletons.
Yeah, they
walking
were.
skeletons.
Well, and it wasn't uncommon. A lot of people from the camps died after the liberation.
Right.
Soldiers arrived and they tried to feed them, but their bodies couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle the food. Yeah.
Yeah. And some people were too emaciated or too sick that their bodies just weren't able to recover.
Yeah. You can't give them a lot of food, just very little.
Yeah, you have to really work it back up.
Yeah.
So I will point out to you where we're going now is right in front of us, actually.
Okay.
It's the National Holocaust Names Monument.
Okay.
But it's almost hard to see from here because you see it's all reflective on the top.
Oh.
So it really blends into the landscape beautifully.
Right.
Trees and the buildings all reflect.
And the glass, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that nice? We
Yeah.
go under the tunnel here. This is
Oh, okay.
nicer
Okay.
than crossing the street, I think.
Okay, okay. Oh, we're going to the metro or?
No, we'll just
Yeah.
use this tunnel under the
Okay,
street instead
okay.
of
Okay.
dealing with the traffic. Make it easy.
And avoid the bicycles. They're dangerous.
There's no avoiding bicycles in Amsterdam. They'll find you.
Yeah, I almost got run over the other day. They got mad too, yeah.
They're the most aggressive in this city.
Yeah.
In other cities, it's not the same. Here, you deal with the real hardcore, but
They have the right of way for some reason,
very
yeah.
often. But also, the other side of it is that a lot of people in Amsterdam are not from here. They're not paying attention.
Oh,
So the cyclists deal with people stepping into their way every day.
right,
All
right,
day long. Constant.
right.
So I can also understand their frustration.
Yeah, yeah.
But a little patience and courtesy goes along there.
Yeah, so I've been fasting for the last 6 months, lost 20 pounds.
Wow!
It's slow. It's it's a very slow process.
It is a slow process.
Just like
Good
most
for you,
diets,
though.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But the walking is great for you as well.
Yeah, I'm eating a lot here, but I don't seem to be gaining weight, yeah.
Hey, that's perfect.
Because of the walking, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It can really even it
At
out
first
for you.
it seems like torture, but then you get used to it eventually.
You do. And some days by the end of the day, I think my legs are just on autopilot.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah.
carrying me through. I'm not even actively.
In America, most people don't exercise, you know.
Well, in America, you kind of have to drive a car a lot.
Yeah, even the next door grocery store, they drive their car.
And my fiance is Dutch, and he didn't believe me. He said, "I'm gonna go walk to the store." I said, "You can't." And he said, "Yeah, I can. It's not that far. It will be fine." I said, "There's no sidewalks. It's farther than you think.
Oh,
You can't do it." He was back at the house in 15 minutes. Like, "No, you can't do it. I really thought I could." It's not designed for that.
California, you need the car.
Everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
because Colorado too.
Yeah, my niece lives there. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go into the monument here.
Oh, okay. In memoriam, yeah.
This is the National Names Monument.
Okay.
This has the names of 102,000 Jewish, Roma, or Sinti victims, which were all targeted, persecuted populations here.
Yeah.
This is not with resistance fighters or other victims necessarily. This is only the persecuted people. And it is from this canal to the next. So there's one brick for every victim, 102,000 bricks, and each brick has the name, date of birth, and the age at the time of their death of a victim. This is the view from a bird's eye view. It's the Hebrew letters for in memoriam.
Oh.
And on this gate, which is closed, or excuse me, open at the moment, you have all of the cities where these people came from. So this is a place to give names to people who do not have a grave.
Okay.
This is a place to honor these people. And I think it's very important because it's easy to talk about things like this as a statistic. It's easy to say 102,000 Jewish, Roma, or Sinti.
Unless you lived during those times.
This gives them a name, a date of birth, their age. It gives them a little bit more of an identity, and it's important to remember them as individuals.
Correct, yeah.
And so I think that that's really significant.
The younger generation, they just forget what... They don't even care. They don't even know who started World War II, to be honest.
Yikes.
Some of them in America say, oh, the French started it? That's how bad it is, yeah.
Oof. Yeah, we need to teach our history a little bit better, or we're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
But we can go in here. Jaar, Jaar, is year. Maanden is months. And unfortunately, there are some in dagen, days.
Uh-huh.
So that's how you'll read the ages here, and it is alphabetized.
Okay.
It's also designed to get lost in it, so that you feel the scale and size of this effort to kill all of these innocent people. And we can go in if you'd like to see Anne and Margot Frank's bricks. Those are quite close to us now.
Yeah. Let's do it, yeah. It's here, not the other one.
It's in here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to Berlin actually, and go to all the. Yeah, they have a.
See, you can just look at these.
Oh yeah. I
These
see.
are all the names of victims. Their date
So
of
many
birth,
of them,
their
yeah.
age, 6 years old.
Yeah, in Europe it's day, month, and year. It's
Correct.
the opposite in America.
Correct. So this is the 14th of September.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, tripping on you a bit.
Yeah. No. That's okay.
And also, this is
The symbol. Yeah.
well, this is the map so that you can help. It helps you to find the names of people.
Oh. Okay. Wow. So many.
It's a lot of people.
And it's only a minority of how much they
Right.
killed during World War II.
Right.
Millions, you know.
Yeah.
This is just a very small.
We have Margot.
What?
It's the sister of Anne Frank. That's the older sister.
Oh. Is Anne even mentioned here?
Yeah, she's over here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Died.
Oh, let me see. Yeah. Annette.
Annalise.
Oh, Anna. It's a common name, huh?
Yeah. Well, and you can see as well the Franks go all the way down here.
Yeah.
When you get to some of the more common names, they take up a lot of space.
Right. Okay. I'm still getting used to the convention of the day month. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I work in IT, but our convention is the higher first. Yeah. Because when you do a sort, you order things using that. This one, for some reason doesn't make sense.
This one is small, bigger, biggest.
Yeah.
Day, month, year.
Instead of biggest, bigger.
Instead of medium, small,
Yeah.
bigger.
In IT, it's the opposite. Yeah.
You see how much it weaves in here? How many
Right.
names are here?
Oh.
And the stones are a Jewish tradition, a memorial. They put those as a memorial.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of names. So how many in total again? I was.
This is 102,000 bricks.
okay.
One for each.
So okay. If I were to count the names vertically, how many names would that be?
Oh, I don't know how many verticals.
Yeah, and then I can divide it. Yeah, I mean multiple. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so about 30. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
We have a little description here in English as well.
Oh no, not very clear. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a lot of
It's in Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's nice to have it again. It's a lot of information on these tours.
Yeah. Wow. When I toured Asia, they use WhatsApp a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My brother lived in Korea and they used Kakao.
They're different there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the Philippines, it's Viber. Yeah. Oh, dang.
You can see some very young children on here, unfortunately.
Oh, the
4 months.
Mandan.
Yeah.
Yar is year. Yeah. J is like a Y. Yeah.
Correct.
Y. So how many languages do you speak now since you've been here so many years?
Kind of too.
What?
Dutch is a slow process. There are a few things in the way. I speak English at work.
Uh-huh.
I speak, everyone here speaks English, so a lot of people, it's habit to switch to English to speak to me.
Oh, so you don't have to learn, yeah.
Yeah, and the grammar in Dutch is really difficult.
Oh.
So my vocabulary kind of is higher than my grammatical abilities.
Whoa.
So I can say things, but sometimes it's in a very weird sentence.
But do you venture out of the Netherlands or?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love to travel around.
Yeah.
It's the real advantage of being over here.
Right. You just know a few words then, yeah.
No, I've passed all of my integration exams in the Netherlands, so I can speak Dutch, just not well.
Yeah, I mean like French and all
No,
that.
I took French and Italian before, but now they're mostly gone.
Okay.
If you don't use them They go
Because they
quite
said
quickly.
Europeans know a lot of languages. Yeah.
But I am technically American, so we only speak the one.
You still are American. You sound American. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get rid of that.
Okay.
So this is
Yeah. That's why.
the names wall.
Yeah.
This has left space for 1,000 names to be added. Because in the 1930s, if the Jewish population is migrating, they are giving false information, they're assuming identities. The records that were kept are not always that good. Sometimes we find
Right.
other discoveries.
Because they were trying to escape. Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we do discover other things, and this has left a place for those people to also be added to.
Oh.
You can see they've already added quite some.
So they're still discovering. Eh?
Sometimes they do still, yeah. There was so much going on, and then as well after the war, trying to compile all of these records and decode things. It's a lot.
So what happened to all their wealth? You know, the gold and all.
It was mostly taken.
It's in Switzerland now.
Maybe.
Is it?
Or Austria or Germany.
Yeah, one of those countries. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Nazis stole a lot of loot. You know.
they did.
Never recovered too. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things never were. It's true.
They should actually pay reparations, but they're not going to.
They're talking about it now to victims, but at this point, most of those people are dead.
Are dead. No
Few
one's gonna
people
claim.
left.
Yeah. That's after 9/11. All this
Oh yeah.
because of the Beirut bombing. Yeah. You know, the truck bomb. Yeah.
So this is the Nieuwe Keizersgracht. This is one of the
Oh,
canals.
okay.
This street alone had 208 deportees.
Okay.
So in the 90s, they created their own monument to honor the victims from this street. And it's here on the ground.
Right.
So here's the canal.
Oh, I see the names.
Oh.
Yeah. What happened? Oh,
Yeah, for the tree.
it's the tree that's.
The wind blew and it rained on me.
So it's drier here actually.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The tree is what's raining now.
Yeah.
So we'll look at these instead.
Okay. So.
This, oh, hold on, sorry.
Right.
The way that this works is you see house 74.
Uh-huh.
You can look across to find
Okay.
house 74.
Okay.
Over there, I believe.
Okay. One of those. Yeah.
These were all of the people from that house that were deported.
Oh, and then nice to
So you have their name, their age when they died, the date of their death, not their date of birth, a little different, and the location.
So
of
who
their
took
death.
over their houses? Dutch people or?
Yes, very often other people moved in. After the war, sometimes it could take people up to 10 years to get their own houses back.
So basically,
very
the Dutch,
messy.
since they're dead, the Dutch stole, well, kind of stole the.
Yeah, I haven't done much research into that, but
Yeah.
something along those lines, yes.
I mean, if they had children, the Jewish, then they should pay them, right?
Yeah, they should, but I mean,
How-
none of
yeah.
these people came home.
Yeah,
All of
that's-
these people were murdered.
Yeah, they were.
So there was nobody to claim
even
their house
their
again.
kids.
Look,
Yeah,
they're
it
all
was-
dead. Nobody could come back to claim this house.
Yeah, the Germans are so efficient. Yeah,
Yeah, so there wasn't anybody in some cases.
no survivors. Okay.
No, only 10% came back to the Netherlands.
Wow.
There was a 90% extermination rate here. So, yeah, you have a high death rate, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
so there were a lot of people who never returned.
So there's really no need for reparations then. Seems like.
In
Yeah.
some cases, I mean, the people who survived should be cared for, but it's also such a wide thing. Almost everyone in Europe, I mean, not to discount what happened to the Jewish
Right.
population, but in Amsterdam, the last winter of the war is called the Hunger Winter because 20,000 people froze or starved to death the last winter in Amsterdam. So it was widespread pain everywhere. The people who survived the camps should absolutely have been better taken care of
Right.
upon returning. But that's just not what happened.
Yeah.
There are some unique ones here as well because in the Netherlands you didn't have any extermination camps. You had transit camps, work camps, prison camps, things like that. But Westerbork was the main deportation camp.
And then
It had been built as a refugee camp for the First World War and used the other direction in the Second World
They
War.
took them by train, right? Too. Yeah.
So almost every Jewish person from the Netherlands who was deported went through Westerbork.
Okay,
You can
okay.
see here.
Westerkerk.
This man died there, which is a bit unique because it was a transit camp, but he was a 76-year-old man. And this time was incredibly stressful for this population. Everyone they knew was threatened. Everything was being taken from them, and they were being deported. It can be too stressful.
Right.
With these things, you saw more heart attacks, more strokes. And sadly, with every new round of rules and regulations that came out in Amsterdam, a new round of suicides.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah.
So there are some that you will see, like Westerkerk. There's a woman over here who died in Amsterdam, over all the way on the left as well. So those are a bit more unique to see, but it could happen.
So, not everyone was Jewish, right?
These are all Jewish people.
Okay. Okay, so
And it goes the whole way down the street here.
right,
actually.
all the wow.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So this is still part of the Jewish.
This is a bit of the Jewish quarter, yes, and we're going
Right.
to actually go this direction afterward
Okay.
to stay in the Jewish quarter. But yeah, it was quite an area over here.
Right. So what does that mean? New.
It means the new Emperor's Canal.
Oh, okay, okay. New, okay.
So we can go this way.
Let's go. Let's go. Avoid the trees.
Yeah, the trees are raining.
So we're gonna take the tram soon, or?
We're going to keep walking around this area for
Okay.
a bit. We'll take a tram closer to the end. So we're going to go see a few more things. We'll have our
Okay.
coffee and
Oh, we're supposed to
pie.
press that. Okay.
And then we'll take the tram toward the end of it to get to the Anne Frank house.
Yeah. Okay. So you're like my fitness instructor.
High knees.
I'm not used to this. Okay.
Well, we're not going to go too fast.
No. Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go. That's for the blind, yeah.
Yeah.
So they can hear.
Exactly.
Except there's no countdown. In
It starts to click a little bit, yeah.
yeah, in like China they have a countdown.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's
Oh, the
traffic light.
light's on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh. Have you ever seen Stumblestones before?
No.
These are Stumblestones. It's the work of a German artist named Gunter Demig. He now has two helpers that help him make them as well. One of them is here in Amsterdam. These are 10 by 10 hand-stamped brass plates that are placed in front of the last place that a Jewish person, a victim of the Holocaust, lived or worked, of their own choosing. These will not be placed in front of the houses that Jewish people were forced into in Jewish quarters. They're in front of the houses that they lived in as a family. Each of them are hand-stamped with the details. It says, here lived, with the name. GEB is short for geboren, born. Under that, it has the details of their arrest, deportation, and murder. And that is the language that they use.
Okay.
Here lived Jacques de Lyon,
Oh.
born in 1933. Arrested on the 1st of October 1943 and deported in 1944 through Westerkerk, which we just talked about, and murdered on the 11th of February 1944 at Auschwitz.
Oh.
These are placed, there's an ongoing project. There is a 9-month waiting list in Amsterdam, but with the cooperation of any living relatives, these can be placed in front of people's homes. And we'll see more of them as we're walking along. They serve as a memory to give these people an identity that were murdered.
Yeah, my brother's going to Auschwitz this October. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I told him to record a good video. Yeah.
Yeah. This set has two special ones. I mentioned that the Netherlands only has a 10% survival rate. There were some very good efforts, resistance efforts, and we're going to start getting into more resistance stories as we come to this part of town. These two on the bottom, this last word, overlaced, survived.
Okay.
These two were children that survived. And this tells you how. They were arrested on the same day. These children, babies, and interned in the Amsterdam crash. That's like a child care facility.
They killed babies?
Yes. Anybody Jewish. There is a 6-day-old child in the Holocaust Names Monument. But these two children were put into the crash, and this word, ondergedoken. They went into hiding 4 days after they were put there in Hoensbroek in the Netherlands.
So they could still be alive now?
They lived.
They lived.
This has survived.
Okay.
So these two survived by being put into hiding. You can see this is the date of liberation of that town.
But some of them are empty, right? Yeah.
Well, there weren't people here. This is to
Right.
fulfill all of them, but there were only so many people who lived here. So very nice that these two survived the war because of those efforts of resistance workers who were putting children into hiding. And we'll tell that story in a little bit because we will go to the Amsterdam crash.
So this is where...
They lived.
Right, okay.
And we'll see more as we go along.
Okay.
100 years old.
The Botanic Garden here. Okay. Although it's not part of the tour. Oh, a Tesla. Yeah, okay.
A prominent Jewish businessman and philanthropist.
Okay.
However, in the second, it is one of the oldest parks in Amsterdam. But in the Second World War, this park was empty for most of the time because you can't have a park named after a Jewish man during the occupation.
No.
The Germans changed it to Park Town. It means park garden. Not very creative. But here's where it gets quite cruel. Because we are in the middle of the Jewish quarter. On all sides of us was the Jewish quarter. Now, in this time, non-Jewish people aren't really allowed in this neighborhood. Only Jewish people are in this neighborhood. But from 1942, Jewish people are not allowed in parks anymore. So this park, in the Jewish quarter, where there are no non-Jewish people, was empty. So people might be forced into these houses, looking out on a park that they're not allowed into. And they petitioned for rights to use the park, but they were denied in 1943. So this park sat empty for years. After the war, it was promptly renamed to Wartime Park, and it has since become a bit of a memorial point. We're going to come to the next spot here. In 1993, the Auschwitz Memorial was installed here.
Oh, there is a...
It was designed by Jan Volker, and that was in 1977, but it wasn't realized for more time after that. And it is 6 panes of broken reflective glass in the ground.
Okay.
It says in Dutch, never more Auschwitz, never again Auschwitz, in glass.
Okay.
And this is designed to reflect the sky back at you.
So it's broken by design, huh?
Yes, because the artist says the sky will never be unbroken after witnessing the horrors of Auschwitz.
Oh.
This is the same sky that looked uncaringly down at the brutality and cruelty.
Kristallnacht, yeah.
Kristallnacht is in 1938, yeah. So this reflects back a broken sky.
Right.
And in 1952, there was a ceremony at Auschwitz, and the Dutch delegation collected ashes from the site. Those ashes are housed under this in a vase. So we do have actual ashes from Auschwitz collected in 1952 housed underneath this.
So does Israel have a relationship with Germany? Just wondering.
I couldn't really speak to that, I'm sorry. I don't really know.
Yeah, 'cause I would understand if they don't, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So this is, and in Jewish tradition, you do not walk over the resting place of the dead.
Oh.
So it is, people don't walk on it, but
Right,
you can.
right. I got it, yeah.
And metal a bit, and yeah, to see the reflection of the sky. This is what you're supposed to see. A broken sky. I find it a really lovely monument.
So what does that mean?
Never more Auschwitz. Never
Oh,
again
never
Auschwitz.
more Auschwitz. Okay. It's not clear, but yeah, it's in Dutch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never more Auschwitz. Okay. Okay.
So, this is the site of the former, essentially the Diamond Workers Guild, the Algemeen Nederlands Diamantenbond. You can see the logo here above the doorway.
Yep.
See the ANDB?
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic logo. Still, very cool design.
Combination, yeah.
Yeah, this building was the building for the Diamond Workers Bond.
Okay.
I had mentioned before that Jewish people were not allowed to join the guilds for a very long time, and many of them were forced into certain professions like money lending, or diamond cutting. Those stereotypes don't go from nowhere.
That's
they were forced
why,
into those
yeah.
jobs. They weren't allowed to work other things. Henry Pollock was a businessman and a politician. He was very big on workers' rights. So he was the one who formed this to help many Jewish citizens. He also, of course, there were also non-Jews in this bond, but to help them to have better workers' rights. He is the person who fought for an 8-hour workday here. He had to settle for a 9-hour workday. But he also provided a library for the members of the Diamond Workers Guild, and they paid quite high dues because he wanted a sufficient strike fund. He wanted these people to actually be better taken care of, to have better lives, better pay, less hours, richer lives. And this building is built in the Amsterdam School of Architecture, designed by Hendrik Berlage, who's the father, the premier architect of the Amsterdam School of Architecture, which is a little bit closer to some Art Deco effects. He usually uses these warm colors, these burnt reds, the goldeny yellow, and then these sort of organic shaped elements. You get a little bit more curvature, the decoration on the top, these narrow windows, and then the most famous, the diamond window.
Oh.
See the diamond shaped window up top?
Right.
And this is now you can rent rooms for speeches or things like that. It's a building like that these days, but it was built simultaneously with the Beurs van Berlage, which is really the pinnacle building of the Amsterdam School of Architecture. So this one's quite unique, and this street now is named for Henry Pollock, who started the Diamond Workers Guild. Unfortunately, Henry Pollock died of a heart attack in 1943. Though it was a hard time. He was an older man, and so he had already been arrested and put under some pressure, from what I understand, and he had a heart attack following that. But this street honors him, and I think it's one of the most beautiful. It's got a little bit of a nickname of Little Brooklyn, because it is one of the only streets that has front yards.
Oh,
See that it's a bit wider with the trees, a little bit greener?
that's right. Brooklyn is a Jewish.
Well, and it was Dutch settled. Brooklyn's a Dutch name. Brokelen is.
Oh, yeah, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Utrecht, yeah. But I think it's just a beautiful street. I would live on this street.
Yeah.
And now, especially with the sun shining through, it's really gorgeous.
Looks like a rich neighborhood, to be honest. Yeah.
It's a nice neighborhood, definitely.
I'm looking for Ring cameras or something.
Those can be hard in the Netherlands because of the privacy laws.
Is it?
Yes, because you can't just point a camera outward to things that are not your property.
Really?
There are much stricter laws about things like privacy in Europe. So Ring cameras have to be very, very specifically placed.
Right.
So you just don't see it quite as frequently.
Yeah. Well, just looking at the cars, you could tell.
Yeah, definitely. It has that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Nice and open,
Yeah.
charming. I love this window, this curved window. I think it's just fantastic.
Right.
I really like the street, but this is where a lot of because by 1943, Jewish people were only allowed to live in North and South Holland.
Oh.
Shortly thereafter, only in Amsterdam. This is the neighborhood that they were closed into.
That's if they were allowed to live, yeah.
Yeah. But this is also where they would do raids and arrest people. And the end of this street is the entrance to the zoo.
Oh,
That's the end of the Jewish quarter there.
I should go see it, yeah.
It's a very nice zoo. It's one of the oldest in Europe.
Yeah.
That zoo, throughout the war, housed anywhere between 250 and 300 Jewish people, or people in hiding.
Oh.
They had a strategic location, and one of the former directors of the zoo did quite some research to discover that the zoo director of the 1930s, Arnold Sunier, had seen the war coming. Everyone could kind of see it coming in Europe. And in anticipation, he had filled all of the storerooms. Extra hay, corn, seed, whatever.
There was a
they
movie
needed.
made about it, I believe.
That's in
you.
Poland, actually. That
Oh, was that? Okay.
But this is a similar kind of a story because they did have a strategic location next to the Jewish quarter. So at night, they would put a blanket down so the people fleeing the raids could flee into the zoo to hide. And most often people were there only for a short period of time. But some people hid throughout the war there. sleeping above places like the wolves' cages or the bears.
Yeah.
And mixing with the population during the day.
If you want to
Sometimes-
survive, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes a Nazi might be looking in a zoo, at the zoo in a cage, unaware that there were also Jewish people in
Wow.
the cage hiding there. And throughout the war, no one was ever discovered.
The wiser.
hiding
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So they got very, very lucky.
Right.
But there was an incident where a bomb was mistakenly dropped on the zoo, and luckily no one was discovered. It was
Right,
kind of
right.
a panic moment, but only a single bunny was injured. So they fed it to a crocodile.
Wow.
But as well, during the hunger winter, that last winter of the war, when the south of the Netherlands is liberated and the north is occupied, there was a pig that disappeared.
We're filming something, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you
So this is the cafe we went to eat apple pie. I'm sorry about my apple pie, it's gone already. Just a second.
So you do have to register with the municipality here, and the office where that was just over here on the campus of the zoo. So in March 27th, 1943, a group of students, a lot of art students, wearing their own homemade Nazi uniforms, broke into the records hall in an attempt to destroy the master copies of people's identification card. Because that was a Dutch thing. Your ID card that's hard to duplicate. You carry one, and they have a main one in the office.
Oh.
Well, these art students had been making a lot of duplicates. They had made about 8,000 fake IDs. And in an effort to make that an easier job, they broke in to destroy that and to help people. All of the people who broke into the records hall were picked up within 2 weeks. When they broke into the records hall, they piled up everything and burned it. But that old paper doesn't burn that easily. It was quite thick and hard to burn. They also detonated a bomb that blew the roof off of the building. But unfortunately, only 15% of the ID cards were ruined, and none of the students realized that there were already duplicates in the Hague. So, unfortunately, all of them were arrested, and many of them were executed, and it barely was a speed bump for the Nazis. Among those that were caught, two very famous names from the resistance. One is Gerrit-Jan van der Veen, who also helped to lead a prison break attempt on a notorious resistance prison, and Willem Arandeus, who was a young homosexual man who broke in. And homosexuals were also targeted by the Nazis. In his last words, which are recorded by a priest, he had said, "Let it be known that homosexuals can also be brave, that we are not cowards." So he was executed at 21 years of age in the dunes near Overveen. Like many resistance workers, there is a mass grave of more than 400 resistance workers out there. So that was that story over there, and that's one of the more famous stories of the
Interesting,
resistance.
yeah.
And then we'll come over here a bit to get a better view of it.
And pancakes are a thing here, huh?
They are. It's different than an American pancake. It's not fluffy, but it's thicker than a crepe. But it's somewhere between a crepe and I guess an American pancake.
Right. They have the small miniature ones too.
The
Yeah.
puffertjes, yeah, those are fluffier. But the big pancakes, they add things like the bacon and cheese right into it when they're baking it.
What?
So it's baked into the pancake, and then you still put syrup on it. It's wonderful. I can only recommend it. The Dutch people love pancakes too.
Yeah.
Schouwberg. It was a theater. It looks like a theater a bit, right? It is in the process of restoration, as is this building over here. Now this is where the arrested population was housed before deportation. Deportations took place on Tuesdays. This is where they held the adults, and children were held in a creche on the opposite side of the street.
Okay.
If you remember those stumble stones we saw,
Right.
the children, this is where they were put into hiding.
Oh.
This building is not an appropriate place to house people. Of course, it's a theater. It's not where you keep people overnight and for potentially a week or so. But sometimes this building could have up to 1,200 people in it.
What?
But they deemed it inappropriate for children. So children were kept across the street where they would be cared for by Jewish nurses and teachers, things like that. And then on Tuesdays, when it was time to move from here to Westerbork, they would either march or be taken by train to Amsterdam Central Station that way, or Amsterdam Muiderpoort Station this direction. And the tracks were here then too. So it was either a march or a tram. What happened is that the people realized that there was a blind spot from the guards here. The children would not come back together with their parents until they were deported. And they realized that there was a blind spot. So they would put the children back with their parents, they would get onto the tram, and then the parents would put the kids back off on this side, where they would be smuggled into the school and smuggled to other places in the Netherlands to go into hiding. This would never be done without the approval of the parents, of course, but many people wanted to save their children. They knew they didn't want their babies going with them. And in some cases, as we saw with those Stolpersteine, those are the only people who survived the families. This operation between the nurses, the parents, and everyone involved here, they worked with a man named Walter Susskind, who was an Austrian Jewish man who had moved here in the 1930s hoping to escape the anti-Semitism he was seeing. But he didn't get far enough away. He did, however, know one of the SS guards from Austria, and they put him in charge of record keeping. So Walter Susskind used his opportunity to delete, falsify the records for all of these children. More than 600 children were saved with the efforts of these people and Walter Susskind, who fixed their records.
Right.
So this is the spot where quite some children were saved through the efforts of the teachers, the principal of the school, and Walter Susskind.
They should make a movie about it. Yeah.
They should. They made a bridge for Walter Susskind. It's named after him. He unfortunately died after the evacuation of Auschwitz.
Ah.
But he saw his opportunity and he took it to help as many people as he could.
Uh-huh. How did he die?
I don't know the specifics of his death, but a lot of people died after the camps were evacuated because they were malnourished, or starving, or...
Oh, I didn't know he was in the camp, yeah.
He was in the camp. He was a Jewish man.
Oh, okay.
So, these are in restoration now. This will be the Holocaust Museum and Memorial after.
Yeah, because, I don't know, they separated the women and the children go in one line and the men.
They separated everybody because you have something to fight for if you're with your family.
Right.
So they separated, families got kept apart, mothers and children often died together. Even deportations would take place in different ways.
Yeah, the gas chambers, yeah.
Yeah, but even, so with the Franks went into hiding because Margot Frank received her letter.
Uh-huh.
So she received a letter that said that she needed to report to Amsterdam Central Station on the 15th of July, 1942 at 1:50 a.m., 2 a.m.
Oh.
with only the items listed. Only she got that deportation letter. Nobody else in their family. They separated families. But they stopped sending those letters because a lot of people wouldn't show up.
Okay.
That's when they started to do mass raids and arrests in certain areas. It's because people just wouldn't show up. And people went through quite dramatic efforts to hide or escape or fake sick, different things to keep themselves and their families out of the concentration camps. So this was the site of where a lot of people were left Amsterdam, for the last time. Okay. Do you want to, here, let's cross over where you can get a better view of
Let's
it.
do it. I flew my drone there. So.
You brought a drone too?
Well, I didn't bring it with me. It fits in the pocket. It's like a size of a phone. Yeah.
That's fun.
And you don't need a remote. It follows you. Yeah,
Awesome.
never heard of that?
I've seen it, but I don't have
I just recently got it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I gotta go. Okay. Remember, this is a red light district, so you gotta watch yourself. Yeah.
So here, this is the Beurs van Berlage. This was built as the stock market building in 1903 by Hendrik Berlage, who is the premier architect and father of the Amsterdam School of Architecture. He was not a capitalist. He was more of a socialist.
Okay.
He thought that the stock market was an experiment that would eventually fail. So he decided to design this building to be useful after it wasn't the stock market anymore.
Okay.
And he was right. It's not the stock market building anymore. That's over here now. The Euro.
Oh, okay,
the bowl.
okay.
We've got one too. But this, you have an escape room, the Tony's Chocolate Only, a bistro. You have a variety of things in here now.
Okay.
But you see the narrow windows, the brick, all of the same kind of design. Its most famous element, though, is the clock.
Oh,
which
okay.
is a replica of a 13th century Italian car, which is a little funny since the most famous car
That's
is...
why it looked kind of like Italian, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't it? I really love
Yeah.
that car. So that's this. And we'll go this direction and talk a bit about the history of Dam Square.
Okay, okay. I didn't fly my drone on Dam Square because of too many cops there.
Oh, I wonder if there's...
That's
are
why I
there a lot of
walked here and then I flew it, yeah.
St. John Westerkerk. It's a travertine monument and it was cleaned last year, so it's quite in a nice shiny state right now. This is in memoriam of the German invasion of the Netherlands.
Okay.
So this opened in 1955 and the artist died a couple months before it was completed. His son completed it for him, which I think is quite lovely. But this serves as the memorial place for the Second World War. And on the 4th of May every year, which is Doodherdenking, or Remembrance Day in Dutch, there is a nationwide 2-minute silence at 8 p.m. And it focuses here. The King and Queen, the Prime Minister, and some other figures will march from the Royal Palace across the street. They come here, all of this will be shut down. They lay wreaths and they play taps on the trumpet. Then at 8 p.m. the 2-minute silence starts. This whole country stops. Trams stop, trains stop, cars on the highway stop, radio is quiet, TV is silent. I have never, in 8 years here, heard anyone speak during the 2-minute silence. It's really, really quite amazing. They take it very seriously, and even in the lead up to that, the TV, that blue tower over
The blue
there.
tower.
We'll go see the rest of the church.
Okay. Almost there. Anne Frank. Oh, there's a sign. There's an actual sign.
Oh yeah. It's one of the most popular places to visit.
Yeah, attractions, yeah. Okay.
Let's double check. Oh, we'll wait for these
Oh
delivery
yeah, wait for them.
drivers.
Yeah. So that's what a urinal
That's
looks
a
like.
double one. So that has 2 spots. But this is...
It's well camouflaged, yeah.
Yeah, they keep it a little bit sneaky so that you don't have
Yeah,
to
that's
be...
why I haven't noticed them.
Yeah, but it's really convenient because, you know, this is a city with a party reputation. A lot of people come here to drink, party, to get wild, and they've discovered that if you don't give men a place to go, they'll go everywhere.
Yeah.
It's easier to concentrate it into one area, and they do get clean.
Yeah.
But where we are is also the Homomonument. This is the world's first monument to homosexual victims of the Nazi persecution.
Definitely, yeah.
Homosexuals were forced to wear a pink triangle. Like
Oh.
the Jews were forced to wear the Star of David, homosexuals had to wear this.
Oh, okay.
So this is a monument made of 3 pink triangles. There's
Okay.
a flat one here. There's a lifted one just on the other side of these cars.
Okay.
See, the people are sitting on it. And then there's one that goes here, and it goes in steps down into the canal. And it's connected by this narrow strip here that makes them into one large pink triangle.
Oh, okay.
And that's on purpose because you can't see the whole photo of something in a society.
So you
Or,
have
like,
to need
the
a drone, yeah.
experience. Yeah, exactly. But you can't see it up close. And the artist says if you ask the police if they have homosexuals in their rank, they'll tell you no. That's not true.
It's not allowed.
It's not true.
Ah.
Statistically, that's impossible.
Ah.
So this is the kind of thing where a lot of homosexuals have to hide in plain sight, which is what this is doing. This is one giant one that
I
people
thought
don't even
the
realize.
Dutch were open, yeah.
They are.
They are, yeah.
This is a worldwide thing, and homosexuals have been persecuted. For,
Even today?
not so bad here,
Not so bad, yeah.
But other places, there are still a number of countries where it's punishable by death.
Well, Russia, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. So this is to reflect that as well, because the Netherlands is a small country. They understand that they're only a very small part of the whole picture.
Right.
Homosexual existence is a much larger thing.
Okay.
But this was put in 1987. It is the first monument of its kind.
Okay.
And it's in the shadow of the Wester Church.
Oh, this is the Wester
posh
Church.
Protestant church, the western side of town.
Okay.
And this is the entrance to the Anne Frank house. And like I said, these are the bells that they could hear. And unfortunately, the bells have been taken down right now because the tower is being restored. It needed some renovations. But
Oh, yeah.
they took the bells down to protect them because they are the original 17th century bells.
Yeah.
And they're said to be nearly perfect. Usually this is the only set of bells in Amsterdam that rings 24 hours a day.
Okay.
But at the moment there are no bells, so these are not ringing. And these bells actually ring every 15 minutes.
Okay.
So the people that were hiding here in the Achterhouse, at the Anne Frank house, they heard these bells all the time. It was one of their few connections with the outside world. Because they went in here on the 6th of July, 1942, and they did not leave until they were arrested on the 4th of August, 1944. They were in here for more than 2 years. So those little things like the bells of the outside world or the chestnut tree that used to be visible, those were big connectors for them to life out here. It was it's quite a significant thing. But we are by the Anne Frank house, so do you have any questions or anything? I'll show you the facade in the front that you can see.
We're going to the entrance of the Anne Frank house where they don't allow recording or photographs. Oh, there's a long line.
Always.
Yeah.
Because it's time-stamped tickets. So people get here for their window and then they will...
So should I wait in line or cutting the line?
Your time doesn't start until 1:15,
Okay.
actually, so you'll have to wait a little bit.
Okay.
We like to give a little bit of a buffer in case, sometimes
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tram or something else.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. I had some trams that were so crowded that we had to wait before we could even get on, and so we like to buy our tickets with a little bit of
And
a
I remember what you told me. You have to be there by 2, so...
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I can take you around and just show you a bit here.
Oh, there's a pancake house. I see the symbol.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was looking for a place to eat, yeah.
Oh, there you go. That makes it easy.
Yeah, I'll just wait here then.
Yeah.
After.
Well, and your window is from 1:15 till 1:30.
Okay.
So you can go in any time between those. So really,
Yeah, we're early, yeah, obviously. So this is the Anne Frank house. This will be the very end of my recording because they don't allow recording photographs inside. That's it, huh?
well, I'll take you and you can see the front of the facade.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because they hid above what was Otto's business.
Okay.
So they were above the business, and this over here was the entrance to it. Now
Okay.
the museum has the entirety of the block, so you get more history of the family and the war. This is where the actual diary is housed. So this way you can get at least a little footage of the front. That's nice.
Right.
Because there's a little plaque that says Anne Frank
Okay.
House.
I'm gonna have to take a photo of that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more places
You're
here.
right here. This was the entrance to
Oh,
Otto's business.
here we go, yeah. Okay. That's Anne Frank house.